Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for being here. For the non-Jews in our crowd here tonight, Shabbat Shalom is sort of our secret password. It, sorry, that's my little one there. She does want to wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. Shalom is peace, hello, and goodbye. So what you're doing is you're welcoming the Sabbath. Shabbat is Sabbath. And so if you say anything tonight, you know you're good if you say Shabbat Shalom. So you can say Shabbat Shalom. We'll begin our service the same way we always do, taking a moment of silent reflection, thinking about the highs and the lows of the week, what we'd like to carry with us, and what we'd like to leave behind. And if there's something positive that's happened to you recently and you'd like to share it, we'd love to hear it. Nothing? No? All right, Lee.
I would like to share the fact that when we first came here, we were looking for synagogue to find where we wanted to belong. I would have to say that we made our decision in great part on music. And so I have to thank you, Dr. Bailey.
So I'll just repeat that into the microphone for everyone. Lee and her family were looking for a synagogue. Part of the reason that they chose Sholem, one of the largest reasons, is because of the music, and that was because of Dr. Mark Bailey. Anyone else want to share anything before we get started? Sorry about that one. She does like synagogue. We'd like to welcome everybody who maybe hasn't been within our walls before. If anyone would like to introduce themselves. I think it's a few of you. So,
I'd like to introduce my friends back on the back row here, Chuck, Carol, and Rich, who've come tonight. And also, a surprise 20 minutes ago when I got here that my choir from St. Xavier Church downtown is here.
So you might have noticed that our choir is like 4 times the size as it is usually. It's like better than High Holidays. And Mark insisted we keep this simple. And he said, I just want a night with my choir. That's what's special. So he has been the director at St. X for how long?
10 years.
10 years, so a long time, and they all just said, yes, this is the first email it asked, and they've come and they've rehearsed and they've learned our liturgy, and so it's really wonderful for all of us, and Jews and Catholics unite tonight together in celebration. We're also going to turn around and we're going to welcome our online community, giving them a nice hello, that even though you're not within our physical walls, you're a part of our prayer community, and we welcome you and celebrate you. We will begin by the formal welcoming of the Sabbath with the lighting of the candles. Linda will lead us on page 2 and 3. And as she walks up to the candles, a quick intro to our prayer book. On page 2, you'll see Hebrew, paralleled with transliteration. That's just how to say that in the Hebrew, in the English letters. And then underneath that is the translation. And on the left side of the page, like on page 3, you're going to have an alternative explanation or an alternative poem. And we slide between each one using sort of that margin as if it was a sidebar or a website, knowing where we're going and where we're coming from. And you'll see we alternate between the different ones.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God. sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with misvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Continue in the English on page 8, reading together. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. We continue on page 22 with Tov Lehodot. Turn back a page to page 20, formally welcoming the Sabbath Lechadodi as if she were a bride. We're just going to sing the chorus at the Lechadodi part at the top and verse 1. So it's a little different than usual.
Nation
continue with Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Amen.
Madi Raki Rute Viamlich Malhute B'chaye Chonu Yom Echad Uchaye Kol Beit Yisrael Bagalav Yizman Karim V'yimaru Amen Yehesh Merava Mevorach Le'olam Ol Me'omaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitbar V'yitroman V'yitnaseh V'yithada V'yithaleh V'yithala Shemei Kudisha V'rifu Le'lam Michol B'chata V'shirata Tush B'chata V'nemata Damiran V'alma V'maru Amen.
We rise for the formal call to worship, page 28. Page 30 at the bottom, we read together in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzvaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We continue responsively at the bottom of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truth?
Then this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai. Shem kevod malchuto leolam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. We continue on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושינתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Many of us in this room have made substantial changes in our lives. We've changed careers late in life, moved to a part of the country where we didn't know a soul, downsized to a condo or retirement facility, became a single parent, went back to school, traveled to places that had long been on our dreams. We've changed something in our lives that we might not have always believed was possible. This week's Torah portion is called Beshalach, which means to be sent out. It refers to the part of the Exodus story where the Israelites have run away from slavery. They stand at the Red Sea with the Egyptians behind them and the long road to the Promised Land before them. The text tells us that there was a miracle in that moment, where the sea split and formed a wall so the people walked on dry land, Bayabasha, within the sea. How can the people, metaphorically or literally, walk on dry land and within the sea? Shouldn't it be one or the other? The Vilna Gaon, the 16th century Talmudic scholar, explained the use of the letter bet in Bayabasha, which means within the sea. He says that the Israelites saw the Egyptians in pursuit and were unsure if God would be able to deliver one more miracle for them. And so each Israelite, one by one, entered the sea until the water was up to their noses. And just at the moment that they couldn't breathe, the sea split and they were able to make it to the other side. Our tradition teaches that the greatest miracle we've experienced was that God split the seas for the Israelites after they proved their faith to God. However, I think the real lesson that comes from our story is that the true miracle was not in the splitting of the seas, but in the swimming. The power of the collective belief that change, freedom, and opportunity were possible and worth risking their sense of safety is one of the great messages from our people's story. Before our standing prayer tefillah, we read, "Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you." Carol loves that line. In one short sentence, we acknowledge that prayer matters. What we feel in our heart, the way we connect to God, brings us peace and hope. And at the same time, our prayer tells us that what happens in this world is not up to us, but what we do in this world is entirely dependent on our actions. The risk we take, the journeys we make, the long and winding paths towards new futures, new relationships, new possibilities, are part of the ways that we walk with God. Each of us has a moment, a journey, a story in our lives where the miracle was in the swimming, not in the splitting of the seas. And at that moment, however challenging or long or public or private, is a moment that our faith rejoices in. When the people crossed the sea, they did not look at their wet clothes or recall the fear from only moments before. It felt like they could barely breathe. No, the people took up their instruments and they sang and danced in celebration of a people who had been part of a miracle. And we continue to sing that celebratory prayer every Shabbat. When we sing Micha Mocha, we recall that moment on the shore as though it was our own moment, our own journey, our own rising out of the waters, comprised of both prayer and action, that brought us one step closer to the promised land. Together we sing that prayer, Micha Mocha, on page 40. Page 42 with Hashkivenu, a prayer that acknowledges that this world is imperfect, that there are things to be scared of, but together through community, through collaboration, through new relationships and friendships, there's peace to be found. Shamru on page 44, rejoicing in the commandment and the fun of celebrating Shabbat one generation into the next, just as we do this evening. was Doug getting us going there. Thank you. It's all that years in the High Holiday Choir, I think. We rise together for a standing prayer for Tefillah on page 46. Seated as we continue together at the top of page 55 in the English. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Page 57 together at the bottom. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, sha'odcha levadacha b'yir'ah na'avod. We continue with our prayer for communal peace on page 60. Shalom Yisrael Tasim le'olam. Shalom Yisrael Tasim le'olam. Ki atah melech hador lechol hashalom. Ki atah melech hador lechol hashalom. Shalom Yisrael Tasim le'olam. Shalom Yisrael
תסיעים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תסיעים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תסיעים לעולם. תסיעים לעולם. תסיעים לעולם.
As we pray for peace in the greater world, we think about the peace that our community and family and friends need. We think about those in nursing facilities, in hospitals, and in their homes. We think about those who struggle with deep grief and those who struggle with addiction. If you'd like to mention someone's name out loud who's in need of healing, we'll start here and go nice and slowly, so anyone who'd like to mention a name may do so. Cookie Aronoff, Mira Barner, Sheila Boniface, Jerry Fish, Aaron Glazer, Inga Goldberg, Irv Greenstein, Ethan Kadish, Luke Kaplan, Kitty Cohn, Yael Kraus, Jen Kravitz, Esther Harmony, Brad Levy, Joan Little, Melissa Maslin, Carol Maslin, David Rose, Daniel Rothschild, Irish Sham, Don Shearer, Flora Slatt, Enav Silverman, Kathy Simon, Sherman Weinstein, Yehuda Ben Aharon. We include everyone we mentioned out loud and those we hold in our hearts, and we include also in our prayers all those who bring healing into this world, the doctors, the nurses, the family, and the friends, and all of us who are part of this prayer service as we're all on a road to healing in some way. We continue on page 253 if you'd like to follow along. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, Liverech et hacholim ha'eleh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem, L'hachli Imam Fatzam Chazikam, V'shlach Lahem Meher Refuah, Refuah Shlema Min HaShamayim, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, Hashta Bagala V'Zman Kariv, V'nomar.
Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu, mikor habracha avotenu, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We take a few moments of private prayer, either with the words of your prayer book or the words of your heart. That tune for Oseh Shalom you just heard is an original by Dr. Bailey. And I think something that's very important, Lee said it when we started our service today, but the power of song and music in relationship to the way that we pray. That all of us connect to our faith in really different ways. But music, for many of us, can open our heart in a way that spoken word might not be able to reach. And that allows all of us to learn and to pray in really different kinds of ways, simply because of the music that carries it. So I think something that Mark does really well is that he teaches us how to pray. He's not Jewish, but he basically is after all these years. And he's writing Jewish prayers. You see the opposite. You see Jews writing, for different faiths. You don't usually see the other way, that he's so immersed in what we do here. He's so part of it, that it's part of him, and that creativity comes and he brings it to us, and now we sing it. And that as much as we've taught you the Jewish liturgy, you've taught us how to pray too, and we thank you for that. A rabbi and a musical director can have 3 different kinds of relationships. The first is the most typical. The rabbi says, Mark, play this, and he plays it. The second way is the way we used to have a relationship. I first came here, and he says, Miriam, this is how we sing it. And now, after 5 years together, we have a really unique relationship. And I think it's very unusual, and it's symbiotic, I would say. That I say, I love this song, I forgot how it goes. He goes, okay, let me figure it out. Or he'll go, I was thinking about teaching this. And we co-create all of our services. And that means both of us like it more. I like it more now that we do it this way. And because we're into it, you get into it. And you're open to everything. And so he's open to everything, and I'm open to everything. And together as a community, we create a whole new way of praying because we're all into it and ready to explore things creatively. And therefore, the liturgy sort of catches up, and we start praying in all kinds of unique ways. And so what we have with Mark, besides being a wonderful man and a great teacher, is a really unique relationship with our congregation, and one where we teach each other continuously. And it becomes contagious. I'll say that when I talked to Mark about this evening, way back when, he had one request, which was to keep it simple, which is very difficult for me. And it's difficult for Temple Shalom too. And so he said, I just want it to be me and my choir, because that's what's special. But we didn't want to bring him in and perform something from he wanted to be part of it, which is very Mark. And so we tried to respect that as best as possible. And so here you have your choirs, plus we have 2 soloists, Maria and Doug, who have been with us 20-something years, a long time. A very long time, and everyone readily said yes, that we're part of this. And that's the next unique thing, that we can be a people of different faiths, and it's time to say next for Mark's party, we'll go there, and we'll learn your music, and that's part of the way we pray, that there's a connection between human beings that transcends a lot of what we do. So I'd like to bring you to the bima. You're never up here. Maybe you don't even know what his face looks like. So Mark, yeah, I'm not going to go get that because it's actually kind of heavy. You said you liked wine. So what a way to celebrate than a true l'chaim as a community. And so you like red wine, so we got you 12 different really interesting red wines. Some nice glasses to drink it from, and a nice decanter to celebrate with your family. So you have many a drink on us. Hopefully we don't drive you to it. That you're celebrating rather than that. So that's what's there for you, and it's heavy. Otherwise, I'd put it in your arms right now. And so we're going to go out there and we're going to do our kiddush, our traditional blessing of our wine, and then there's some wine bottles back there. And we'll have a formal toast and talk about these things, but it's l'chaim is to life. And we want to say to life, to another 25 years, to many prayers that still wait to be composed, to partnership, to our family by choice, to your loyal choirs, and to all of us, we who celebrate this partnership in song and prayer, we are your loyal chorus. Together, let's say l'chaim. L'chaim. And there are a few more surprises to come. So Noel is the next one he's going to talk about, and we'll just sit here and we'll listen to him.
I'm going to do double duty here. Oh. Can I share this now?
Yes, the talk button.
Yes. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. That was the code word, the password. Anyway, this, we've already, I think people may know this, given Mark a plate glass, sterling glass plate, what do we want to say, a few months ago. But this is also part of what we're going to do this evening, which is part of the surprise for Mark. So I'll first give him this, and he may decide to open it or not.
No.
Yes? Oh, and then there's this. Anything else? Okay. And we're about to do a song. I was struck by the occasion as I've been struck. I'm going to be down there doing the song with the choir, and it's on the other side of Mark Bailey's Oseh Shalom. But of course, before I give too much time between this and that, I'll ask the following question. How many choir directors does it take to screw in a light bulb?
No one knows.
And the answer, we all say, no one knows because no one watches the choir director. It's Mark's favorite joke. Up to you. You want to stay? Song's a little tricky, but you're welcome to sing along.
He's
You did all that this evening, too.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I asked my friend Carol if I should say anything tonight, and she said, whatever you do, keep it short. So I will make it short. I moved to Cincinnati in 1979 to go to graduate school, and I was convinced when I moved here, not knowing anyone, having no family here, that I would be here 2 years, and 2 years became 5 years, and 5 years became 10 years, and here I am in Cincinnati now 36 years. I had always assumed that I would move back to either Virginia or West Virginia to live closer to my family. And as I stayed in this area, members of my family back home began to pass away, and the desire to move back there became less of an issue. And as the years went by, I can remember many times driving back from vacation, and I would come down I-75 in the cut in the hill and see the city rise before me, and I'd always think, it's so good to be home. Family and a sense of home can come in many forms. Some people joke that you're stuck with your blood family, but I've always enjoyed the idea of choosing my family or having them choose me. Several years ago, on Erev Rosh Hashanah, I walked into the lobby out here, and I saw this huge banner that read, "Welcome home to Temple Sholem." And I thought of the people who would walk through that door that evening for the first time and be welcomed as I had been welcomed into the Temple Sholem family in 1990. And I had to smile because few of us have the opportunity of being employed in places that feel like home. And for that, I'll always be thankful that I have a family here who's welcomed me so completely into the synagogue. When Rabbi Miriam asked me if I had any requests for this evening, I told her that my only request was that it be on a night that my choir could be here. Because I figured that any group that has had to put up with me for 25 years and hear my bad jokes for that long deserves to share in this. And even what a greater surprise to have all my friends from St. Xavier Church here as well. That was a total surprise. But over the years, we've lost some treasured choir members, such as Mickey November. You might remember she was a founding member of the synagogue as well as a founding member of the choir. And also, I have to mention my good friend Bill Boniface of blessed memory. Along with Marcy and Pam, they were the two choir members who greeted me at our first rehearsal together and are still here. And over the years, we've added Noel, Meryl Ann, Loretta, Kay, Jim, Kitty, who's not here tonight, Sharon. Oh, is Kitty here? Kitty. Oh, great, wonderful. I'm so used to her being online. Anyway, and Sharon and Steve. So some of you all joined very early after I got here, and some of you have joined more recently. But I have to tell you, I couldn't ask for a nicer group of people or a group more dedicated to this temple. And I know a lot of work went into planning this tonight, and I especially want to thank Rabbi Miriam and Miriam Rubin for planning the everything afterward, making it work, and also anybody else who contributed to making all this happen. It's just overwhelming, because it's always nice to be acknowledged for what you do. But it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to many more years being part of this Temple Sholem family. Thank you.
Welcome Bob Zeke to share some announcements, and Lee Falk will lead us in a prayer for the community.
Mark, 25 years. It's really gone by. We've had, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, thank you for all you've done for the synagogue. And thanks to the St. Xavier choir to be here. I've met a few of you on Christmas Eve. Mark has managed to talk Marcy to do midnight mass for the last few years and join them and add her soprano voice. And also Doug, thanks for joining us, and Maria to honor Mark's 25th here. Have a few announcements on the back. And one thing that Maury Willis wanted to say, and I'm going to point it out, is the World Zionist Congress election is every 4 years. And she has the ability for you to vote tonight to support Reform Judaism in Israel. She has an iPad. We're becoming very technical around here, as you know. So she's right there. So if you would like to cast your vote for Reform Judaism in Israel, please see Maury during the after party here. And then other key announcement, we're also having the Purduettes here. Those of you who have been here when the Purduettes have done a Shabbat service, is a very moving experience. I know Mark's pretty excited about it as well. And there's a dinner to follow. So please definitely show up for that, or plan on showing up on February 6th. And then thank you, Rabbi Terlenchamp, for a great service. And thanks for everybody for being here tonight.
May Adonai, the source of life, who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, and Leah, bless this entire congregation of Temple Shalom, together with the synagogues in Cincinnati and all holy congregations in this world. Bless our community, our children, our families, and all that is theirs, along with those who unite to establish synagogues for prayer, and those who enter them to pray, those who devote countless hours of their lives so that our synagogue may be a thriving place of spiritual welcoming. May the Holy One regard those who contribute to our community with healing, forgiveness, and personal strength. May God bless them by prospering all their worthy endeavors, as well as those of the entire people Israel. And let us say, Amen. Amen.
Thank you to everyone who's part of tonight and all of you who came in celebration and honoring of Mark. Marion and Reuben organized many people to help contribute to tonight's light dinner. Lots of homemade food. You're going to love it. Everyone is welcome to stay, encouraged to stay, and grab a glass of wine on your way, too. We'll begin the conclusion of our service with Aleinu on page 282 at the bottom. 282 at the bottom. When you reach that page, please rise. Please be seated as we continue on page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking in the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. We mourn the recent passing of Sylvia Spector. And we commemorate the Yardsides, the anniversaries of the passing of Kurt Baum, Beverly Cohen, Anna Cohn, William Maxwell, Irving Metz, Sylvia Balcony, Lawrence Warm, Alan Felkner, Max Goldstein, Jenny Krause, Dr. Donna Jean Levy, Toby S. Feidler, Celia Balcony, Natalie Buca, Joseph B. Kaplan, Lillian Hyman Lerner, Raymond M. Boniface, Lucille Scott, Gussie Whitman, Nathan Feldstein, Eva Fuchs Shore, Trudy Schultz, Samuel Miller, Pauline Sternberg. If you'd like to contribute to the list of people we're remembering tonight, please share those names now. If you are in mourning or commemorating a Yardside, please rise first. We acknowledge you and we mourn along with you as we rise together as a community of comfort for all those we mentioned out loud, those we carry in our hearts, and for all those who have no one to say the Kaddish for them, as we continue on page 294 with Kaddish Yatom, our prayer for mourning. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, Alma divra irite v'yamlich machlute v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayedecho be'Israel b'gala v'zman kariv v'imru Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam omei omaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei kedusha le'ela min kol brechata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Ta'amiram ve'alma ve'imru. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Please be seated. We'll continue with our concluding prayer on page 321. Thank you, Bob, for streaming tonight into our 15 computers and whoever are behind them online who joined us in your service, all of you for being here. We look forward to the delicious food that's coming to us.
Behu yavdo akid ruchim ve'etishan ve'a'ira ve'in ruchi geviati Adonai ve'lo ira.
Before we go off to our kiddush and our motzi, our wine and our bread and all this amazing food that comes to us, please connect to one another to receive a blessing. And if you don't feel like it, that's okay too. And if you're online, you can just put your hands out to receive a blessing. God bless you and keep you. May Adonai's face shine upon you, be gracious unto you. When God's face does shine upon you, may it bring you strength and courage to go out and make this world a better place, because we are all in it together. And let us say, Amen and Shabbat Shalom.